Okay, so what we would do is we would take this little compass, and it's got this locking pin on here, and you can see there that I've got that lined up with the number 3 angle, so that means frame 3. Okay, and that worked out to be 64 degrees. Now, what I did is I take this then and just take one of these little blocks. This is finally what the Douglas fir was useful for. And put that on there, right on the corner up there, and draw a line down through that. And that would represent this much here has got to get trimmed off. So now I know that frame 3 is right here because I marked it the other day. Except I have to mark on the underside. So if it wasn't complicated enough, I had to flip this over. So I flip it over. Now, just to make sure I'm straight, I do have a line on the end of here, and I know that this part here is the part that gets trimmed off. All that's got to be planed off. So I have my other piece here that's number 3, and I just have to make sure that I've got that angle going the same way. So it matches up like that, and I know I'm good. I don't know if you can see that. See that's the same angle. So now I measure the distance from that side, the left side, over to my mark that corresponds with where that comes down, and it's 3/4 of an inch. So now I know number 3 is 3/4 of an inch. So I measure back in from here down 3/4, and that's what we've got. So I know that this part's got to be planed off back to this line. And so then you do that for each one. Number 2, and my mark's right here, and that's 29/32. Number 1 was 3/4. Now I was back up to 3/4 here. Here's number 5. There's a mark there. Number 6 was about a 1/2 inch. Number 7, about 3/8. 8 is 1/4. Number 9 is about 1/4. So you can see that I'm doing that all the way up here. Now, one of the things that I noticed was it looked like I was going from inside out just a little bit when I felt like it should all be going off to the left. But it actually went to the right for a little bit. And I thought, well, how could that be? And so I remeasured it. And what I found out was that, yes, indeed, the angle does change. Here, we were started at 66 degrees. Then it went to 64, 64, 63. But then it jumped to 67. So we've been coming down in angle, but then it went up. And from there on, it goes up until we approach 90 degrees, which is all the way up here at station 14. So I could be taking anything off of this because it's 90 degrees. And if we look here at about station 14, we can see that it really truly is about 90 degrees. Now that has to be in relation to the deck mold. Imagine that thing's still up there. But that angle is just at 90 degrees at 14. Now, where it gets tricky is that we wind up with tumble home coming into the back of this. Okay, so I flipped it back over. So this is the forward end. That upside down F tells you that. And now I have a line drawn on here. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but here it slightly comes off to the right, but then past about here, then it starts going back in. There are lines here, and we're going to come all the way up to about 14, where you can see that line just keeps moving over until we're down to nothing right about here, or 90 degrees. So this face is right now, and we won't touch that. Okay, we're not going to go all the way to the line. We're going to start using that bevel angle to see where we're at before we take off more than we need to. I have a bunch of this plane down now, and I did use the power plane with it set on 1/32 of an inch, so just taking off little nibbles at a time. But we're getting it. I'm all the way up to about 14, and the angle gradually increases and then decreases all the way up there. So, like for example, here's our bevel tool, and I've got it adjusted to number 3. See there? Okay. And at number 3, which is here, we can put that on there, and you can see that that angle of that bevel is just so. And remember that the black part of the bevel tool is where the frame coincides. So like over here on number 3, that's the frame, and we know then that the silver part is where the deck beam is supposed to go. So we know that's right, and you can see I don't know if you can see it, but there's a pretty severe cut in there. Here's on the bottom side where we had the line drawn. You see I'm coming right up to the line there. It's flush to the corner on the bottom, so we didn't take anything off of there. We came all the way to the line here on number 3, and as a result, when we take that bevel tool, now see we're right on that angle. And it goes that way all the way up, but it becomes less as we get further down. So like on, let's say, number 9, now see I adjusted that, so that's what the angle is on number 9. So if we come up here, there's 6, 8, here's 9. We put the bevel on there. Now that could maybe take just a little bit off of there. There's still a little bit of a gap in between there. See that, how it's humped up? So I know, and I'm just going to take the pencil. I'll take the pencil and I'll just mark where the hump is, and then I'll take that off. Now I've been using a little hand plane as well, and that does help take those little humps out of there. But you can see that we're getting there. That my line here is pretty much gone, and we knew that we were going to be up to 90 degrees or a 0 bevel here, and so we're good there. Now see, I didn't have to take anything off here, which is nice because I was into my scarf here. But it's a progressive bevel all the way back. And the other thing that I noticed is that at about number 2 to 3, it actually goes in and then back out. So it's wider up at the very front, comes in, and then slowly starts coming back out and approaches 90 degrees. That's how you do it. This is the end of part 2 of measuring and beveling the shear clamp. The next video will likely be steaming and bending it into place. Thanks for watching.